Reporter Zikhona Tshona has been following the trial for us. She's in our studios now. Zikhona, good afternoon to you. So we have 189 pellet wounds. This gets to the type of ammunition that was used. And this is important because the type of ammunition is really important in this case.
And we've learned in court today that the type of ammunition that was used in this case was actually banned from use by the police back in 2014. Big question asked by the defense attorneys asking as to why the police were in possession of this kind of ammunition. Also very important in court today, the demonstration of how this gun is used and also the lessons that accused number one would have learned at the police academy with regards to how she handles a gun. We learned that if someone hands you a gun or if you've lifted up a gun, you need to check the rounds that are in the gun, and if you're not going to use them, you need to put them in a safe place. We've learned that that was not followed. And secondly, you can't fire a shot directly at a person. And the forensic expert testified that Nathaniel Julies was in fact killed by a direct shot. What is meant to happen is that the shot is supposed to be fired at the ground so that if it releases pellets, they can go in separate directions, but not directly at a person. The distance is also very important. As a police officer, we've learned that you are meant to be at a distance of about 20 meters from the subject at which you are shooting at. And here we've learned that the officer and Nathaniel Julies were only between 9 and 11 meters apart.
I mean, all of this is going to go to motive. I mean, Nathaniel Julies really couldn't have been posing a threat to these officers, and yet they fired, breaking all of the police laws and regulations in the first place. Well, that would be the argument.
And in fact, yes, on Monday, rather, we heard from a teacher from the academy, a captain who taught accused number one on how to handle a gun. What she told the court is that you only fire directly at a person if you are in danger. And we've also learned from previous witnesses that Nathaniel Julies was in fact alone at that scene. There was no danger posed at the police officers. So it remains to be seen how their teams will argue then that they were in danger at the time. We know that accused number one, Kayleen Whiteboy, is said to have fired that fatal shot. She's the one that's currently been grilled now because her teacher came to testify at the court to say that it doesn't seem as though the accused followed any of the things that she was taught at the police academy. We know that at the time of the said crime, she was only in the police force for about 9 months.
Sure. So, I mean, the training should have been fresh in her mind. This is all very technical detail, and it's legal detail, and it's really important detail. For a mother to hear 189 pellets striking her son, I mean, I can't imagine.
This is the third week of this trial. I think this is the worst we've seen the mother listening to a testimony. She broke down. Her family is in court to support her, and at some point she had to leave court proceedings because to hear those details was just simply too much for her to take. I think for the most part of court proceedings, she's tried to be very strong and try and hold it together, but today she simply couldn't. And there was a point when the judge even asked one of the police officers to go and see if she needs help, and that's the point at which she left the courtroom, just to get some air outside.
Quite something for the judge to have to make that intervention. This is technical details, can be very important. I imagine we're going to have more evidence like this in the future. We're going to have quite a few weeks still of this trial to come.
Certainly, we do have, the list of witnesses is about 60 witnesses. We know that the state might not bring up all the witnesses, given that they've already brought up quite crucial and heavy evidence, but there are other police personnel and experts that are expected to take to the stand. Very important today, accused number 3, Foster Nechangolo, has been late for court 3 times. The judge saying that if he's late tomorrow, he will issue a warrant for his arrest because it's simply unacceptable that he's not able to show up at court on time. He's embarrassing his attorney, and also described him as someone who's not respecting the justice system. So the judge very being hard and reprimanding him and saying, if you're not on time tomorrow, we will have to issue a warrant for your arrest.
That's astonishing. I mean, I've never heard of an accused being late once, never mind 3 times.
Well, the accused has been late for court 3 times, and the judge has said he's trying to move away from issuing a warrant of arrest because that's going to further delay these court proceedings, because if there's a warrant for his arrest and he gets arrested, then he's going to want to apply for bail again, and then we have to deal with that process. So the judge is saying he simply does not want to do that. So can the accused just show up at court on time?
Zikhona Tshona, I really appreciate the time and the reporting. Thank you very much indeed.